Well, my milk cow has left me, she's done went away. The used car blues done hit me, I feel worse today. I've got those down and out blues, just as blue as I can be.
This is a story about heartbreak and tragedy. A story about Lucky White, post-World War II. He served honorably in the United States Marines. Soon after being discharged, he grabbed his black Stetson hat, his pearl pinstripe black cattleman shirt, a black pair of slacks, his guitar, and a white scarf. It was Lucky's signature outlaw wardrobe, one that he brought in all the way from Texas. Lucky and his band, the Dude Ranch Playboys, landed at KWKW Radio 1430 in Pasadena, California in 1946. With a 20-year-old Leody Jackson from Oklahoma on the table steel. You can hear him in the background music. Lucky was a band leader. He wrote and composed everything. He provided studio time and had his own radio show with Cliffy Stone, who you see here in this photograph looking over his shoulder. He was an A&R rep from Capitol Records. Lucky was going to be a big star. After all, Lucky's the original Man in Black. Cliffy Stone is just a guy to make it happen. Cliffy liked Lucky so much, he hired him to play as a backup rhythm guitar player in his hometown jamboree. Cliffy needed Lucky to fill in on their live tours at the Legion Stadium for their live television broadcasts. Lucky would also play at the Ship's Cafe, where legend has it that he got a young Buck Owens up on the stage for one of his first shows. His radio show would air at 5:30 p.m. Monday through Friday. They would record live and record their performances directly to acetate shellacs. In the summer of 1946, with Leody Jackson, they cut Down and Out Blues, That Naggin' Wife of Mine, Teddy Bear, and Jackson's Stomp on the Courtney Blue label. Oh, hi, Bing Crosby. What are you doing here? How did you get into our movie? Hey, Marge! Look, it's Bing Crosby. He's in our movie. Bing Crosby worked at the same radio station. He was most likely the engineer of these four acetates, and he hired, he stole Leody Jackson from Lucky White and his Dude Ranch Playboys. Lucky moved on and right into the 50s, releasing Yo-Yo Heart and One of Your Lies with his friend Bill Taylor. Tanner was his legal name, Taylor was his stage name. They had two mild hits, regional, that played on the radio and were picked up by the RCA Victor Company and performed by Bobby Williamson in 1953. In that same year, the music business was giving birth to a new genre called rock and roll. So sometime in about 1955, Lucky decided to send off his recording of Teddy Bear to the Sun Recording Studio in Memphis, Tennessee. A few years would pass and the song Teddy Bear would appear on the RCA Victor label with a guy named Elvis Presley. From that day forward, Lucky wasn't too happy. Elvis Presley stole his teddy bear. Even the font was similar in the print. Of course, with inspiration from both Lucky and Leody's Teddy Bear from 1946, Elvis Presley would create a masterpiece. One thing can be certain, it will never compare to the one-eyed teddy bear. The most outlawed and villainous teddy bear
that you can snuggle and cuddle with of all time. Hee.
Lucky would jump out of the 50s and right into the 60s with a new one called Ponderosa Rock and a new band called the Ponderosa Playboys. Soft Doll and Ponderosa Rock landed in the review section of Billboard magazine on April 27, 1963. The lineup was Lucky with Pat Compton, Grandpappy Robbins, the late great Stu Bassor, thank you, SteelGuitarForum.com, and Jack Horman on the drums. Lou Darlin also sang on Soft Doll. She was married to Lucky, and and together they had the Pastimers. It was a side project band. They recorded If We Pretend and 10 Million Tears on their very own Ponderosa Jubilee Records label. It had mild success and was played on the radio in heavy rotation. It never hit the national airwaves. Hey man, where's Cliffy Stone when you need him? Well, judging by the caption above, he's super busy. Ponderosa Rock appears on 3 Bear Family Records compilations based out of Germany. One of the first songs Lucky wrote back in the mid-1940s was Flour, Lard, Coffee, Sugar. He performed it live, and he would have recorded it sometime in 1947 during his radio show at KWKW. What we do know is the song was performed a lot live, according to his daughter Linda, and his son, Lucky Jr., who was also a fantastic musician. Released in 1953 on the 4-Star record label. It was a custom pressing on a white label, OP 183. We don't know what's on the flip side, and we don't know if it's a 33, a 45, or a 78. So if any of you folks out there could help us, let us know. We contacted the Bear Family Records Company in Germany via email and haven't heard back. That was in May of 2021. If they find it, we hope they can share it with us. We'd love to know what's on the flip side. We're pretty sure they'll find it. It appears on the Boppin' Hillbilly Volume 11 series on track number 8. And before we move on to the next segment, as your humble narrator, I have to add that Lucky's family is very, very happy that Bear Family Records included Lucky in their music catalog. Which brings us to this little gem, a classic written by Bob Wills and Cindy Walker in 1947, recorded by Lucky White at his radio show, KWKW 1430 in Pasadena. And the only way this could have happened is when Lucky, Bob, and Cindy were working together live on the air with Bing Crosby cutting it directly to acetate disc. Lucky's rendition of Sugar Moon was recorded July 12, 1947, with Lucky on the vocals and strumming the rhythm guitar. What I wonder is did Willie Nelson, Johnny Cash, and Loretta Lynn listen to this when they were 14 and 15 years old back in 1947? Let's have a listen as this segment closes out.
Now when the sugar cane time, all around about June, wedding bells will be chiming beneath my old sugar moon.
Oh, look! How could I forget? Broken Hearted Girl by the Miller Brothers. Composed by both Bill Tanner and, you guessed it, Lucky White. Looks like a standard 50-50 split. They must have had an agreement to have this one go as a Miller Brothers song. When you listen to it, it sounds exactly like Lucky White on the rhythm guitar. We just can't figure out how and why 4-Star Records, Bill Tanner, and the Miller Brothers had such a major misprint in the credits on the disc. Nope, that's not a typo.
It's a blunder, a flim-flam, a bippity-boppity-boop.
Wanda Tanner didn't write the song. It was a Lucky White, Bill Tanner composition. Would you look at that? It magically fixed itself. Hey, Marge! Check this out! Funny things are going on in the movie again!
You're funny, Mr. Narrator Guy.
I'm just glad the Miller Brothers didn't call themselves the Miller Brothers and their string cheese. Look at that! It says the Miller Brothers and their string cheese.
Broken Hearted Girl, written by Lucky White and Bill Tanner in 1954. Well, that's funny, all right, but I can think of a whole bunch of other things that are worse than a misprint. Worse things to come, indeed. When the fire came a-knockin', nobody was rockin'. It destroyed everything in the house and the studio. Lucky lost everything. Pictures, lyrics, and the reel-to-reels. Let's not forget the shellac, Courtney blue labels. Gone.
I went out honky-tonkin' to drown my troubles right. There said old Leody Jackson playing the doggone blues all night. I've got those down and out blues, just as blue as I can be.
Yeah, the down and out blues indeed. We're trying to recover Teddy Bear, the Jackson Stomp, down and out blues, and that naggin' wife of mine. All on the Courtney Blue label, 1946. Oh yeah, and how could we forget everybody's favorite, flour, lard, coffee, sugar. If you find them, feel free to contact us. We'd be very happy to hear about it. So out of that terrible tragedy, Lucky and his family would pick themselves up, dust themselves off, and rebuild for a better future. By 1968, he'd head back into the studio and record I'm Gonna Hang It Up. On the flip side, Sweet Babe. Both songs getting regular airplay on the radio. And you'd never guess it, but both songs were released and published by Central Songs, Cliffy Stone's publishing company. Arranged by Mike Davis. He did a great job. He did such a great job with Lucky's music, I can't figure out why they just didn't do a full LP. By the end of the 1960s, Lucky had hung it up. His Ponderosa Western Jubilee was one of the biggest traveling shows in the country at the time. Over 2 decades had passed since Cliffy and Lucky had worked together at the radio station. The original Man in Black of the 1940s was standing right in front of him. How could he let that get away?
We'll never know the answers to these hard questions. One thing's for sure, anything's possible.
I'm Cliffy White. I'm Cliffy Stone. I got Lucky White's shirt and his scarf. Don't I look good in his shirt? Look at my scarf. I'm Lucky Stone.
No, Cliffy. It's my outlaw look. I brought it in from Texas.
What, who, me? No, I don't have your shirt and your scarf. But I did get my star on Hollywood Boulevard, and I made it into the Country Music Hall of Fame.
Well, I think we've all just about heard enough. No music, no Bettys, no Lucky. Hey man, guess what, Cliffy?
What?
The 1940s called. They want Lucky's shirt back.
Well, I shell my corn in an old corn sheller to take it to the mill. My wife starts writing down her knees, and here's our grocery bill. It's flour, lard, coffee, sugar, nothing else at all. Just flour, lard, coffee, and sugar, summer, spring, and fall.